Hey, friend, did you know that the rooms that you sit in actually determine the life that you live, the life that you grow into? It's true. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Pat Layton. I'm a speaker, an author, and a coach. And I have just left a meeting of one of my mastermind groups that I lead and just threw some thoughts on paper that I really would like to share with you because I have realized, and this is not a new thing, I've learned this over the years, that the environment that we're in, when we have a calling on our life, which we all do, God says in Psalm 139 that He knit us together in our mother's womb and that we're fearfully and wonderfully made, and He has a plan for us, He says in Jeremiah, for good and not for evil. So, what I've been thinking so much about, I lead a lot of coaching situations and I am in a lot of coaching situations. I've been in ministry full time for 40 years and I've invested in a lot of personal coaching into my ministry, into my organization, into myself, into my personal growth, as well as been partnered and part of some free communities. In fact, I am part of a free community of very high level speakers and writers that I started 8 years ago. And I started it because I was coming out of a nonprofit ministry that I was very familiar with, very successful in, into the world of speaking and writing, which I had no information about. So I gathered a group of high level women that God had put in my path over the years, and we started a free fellowship of a mastermind group. So it is still going on today. So there are times when a free group comes along and it is the right fit for us. But what I want to encourage you in today is seeking that group, that mastermind, that high level gathering that takes you to another level, that will take you to a higher level. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the difference between a free mastermind group or a free community. We can be members of lots of those on Facebook, on various platforms. You can be part of a free community. I have a free community. It's called A Woman's Place, and its foundation is on the School platform, which is where I place all of my groups, but that one's free and it's wonderful. It's filled with several hundred like-minded faith-chasing women, but we are coming from all different angles, all different levels of our faith, all different issues, challenges, problems. So we find community on those things that we do have in common. But the truth is, in a free community, there's some points that I've written down. The good thing about a free community is beautiful and it's a wonderful place to begin. There's a place for connection without pressure. In a good free community, you can be who you are, ask what you need to ask, create discussions that you need to create. And it's a place outside of your normal sphere of influence, outside of your family and your closer friends, your spouse, that gives you a place to talk about some things you want to talk about, right? In a safe place. So free communities have a place. A Woman's Place is a beautiful community if you're looking for one to be part of for free. It's a safe place to explore your story and even begin to explore the calling that you carry, the calling that God has on your life. It's a great startup place to explore those questions that you have. It's a place of encouragement and inspiration. So there's a lot of wonderful things about free communities. It's a great place to step out of isolation, which is basically what I created. That group I created all those years ago is because I felt isolated and I felt like I was in a place that I was unfamiliar with, and I needed some support and encouragement from those who are ahead of me. As a coach, one thing I always teach the women that are in my sphere of influence is that to look for someone who's a few steps ahead of you to coach you and lead you to where you want to go so that you are prepared to minister to someone a few steps behind you. That is our calling in life, to grow through someone that can help us grow and give back what God's planted in our lives and in our heart. So free communities, wonderful. But there comes a moment when encouragement and friendship and support is not enough, where we need more. Because, like I said, in my free community, a woman's place, we're all at different levels. We don't really have a strategic plan of action. We're just gathering there for prayer and for topical discussions and possibly some workshops or some different things that we're getting involved in. But there's no structured growth path in a woman's place. So it's easy to stay comfortable. Free rooms can comfort you, but they do not always call you forward. If they start calling you forward, that's when you know it's time to take a step of faith and make an investment in a paid community. Because in a paid community, this is what you can expect. In a paid mastermind, there's something powerful that happens when you step into a room full of like-minded women who all are saying, I'm ready to grow. I want to go a step further. I offer these differences in many places. One place I have on school is more specific to that particular ministry, and others are more like I've talked about, a woman's place and a woman's quest. Free, paid. Okay? So here's some things that you can expect to find when you join a paid community. You expect to find a group of people outside of your normal sphere of influence. You expect to meet some new people that maybe you haven't known before. You may have one or two in that paid group that you've known before, but it is also filled with women that are new to you, that are like-minded, that are also on a path of growth, that they're investing in themselves and the ministry they feel God has called them to. Another thing you're looking for is honest feedback, not just encouragement. There are many times in my group where I honestly share with one of my coterie members when I feel like they're stuck. I wrote the book, Life Unstuck. It's based on Psalm 139, the 24 verses in Psalm 139, and it's about getting unstuck from your past, from your present, and from your future. So there are often times in my membership group where I will challenge a member to get unstuck with honest feedback, not just sweet encouragement. So there's accountability. You expect accountability in a mastermind group that actually moves you forward. That's going to be your measure of success, is from the time I joined to each month. There's a little bit of prompting. Now, every month is different, and our stages and our seasons are different. But as a rule, in a mastermind group that you're paying for, you're going to be expecting that you're moving forward, that you're moving towards what you feel God's called you to do, that you're learning some new things, that you're being challenged either by the leader or the speakers that she brings in, or one another in the group. The challenge of a good mastermind is iron sharpening iron within a well-designed group that puts the right people in the group that are ready to be in the group and that are ready to learn from the group. So accountability that moves you forward. A leader that's a few steps ahead of you. So as I said, one of the things I expect in a coaching relationship or in my spiritual growth, I have been in full-time women's ministry for 40 years. So what I've always expected and what I pay for often is someone who's a few steps ahead of me, that I can learn from, that I can grow from, that I can be challenged by, so that I can minister to someone who's a few steps behind me. I want to be able to give what God has given me and share what He has taught me. So you want to look for a leader that's a few steps ahead. You want a leader that creates steady, intentional growth. In my mastermind, A Woman's Quest, we have a path that we follow. It's not a linear path. It circles back round and around. We repeat certain items and discussions to go a little deeper into that area, to learn a little more, either through a guest speaker or through a book or through a discussion that we're having or a teaching that I'm giving. So we want to be in a mastermind that creates steady, intentional growth. We also want to be in a mastermind that makes us think bigger. My goal with the women in my coterie is to encourage them to think bigger, to grow their faith, to step into places that they would not normally step, especially in a group of like-minded encouragers like A Woman's Place. most of those people in there are just going to love on one another, encourage one another, pray for one another, but they're not necessarily going to challenge one another because they often don't get to know each other that well. So you want to be in a mastermind that helps you think bigger. You want to be in a mastermind that calls you into bold decisions, that calls you into places that you have not been, that you may be afraid to go. There are two things that we battle specifically in my A Woman's Quest coterie. We battle and fight against limiting beliefs, like the I can't, I won't, I haven't, I don't, all those limiting beliefs that keep us from moving to the next level. We come against those, and we come against imposter syndrome, that feeling like, what am I doing here? How did I get here? Who makes me think I am an author? What makes me think I can be a speaker or a writer or a ministry leader or organizer? Or what makes me think I can take people into these high places? So we overcome imposter syndrome. We build beliefs amongst each other that this is actually possible. And the last one that I really love that I wrote down is that what once felt impossible now becomes normal in the mind of my coterie members. We normalize success. Our goal in that group is to overflow success, the success that we've experienced in one place or another. Well, I never thought that I would write a best-selling Bible study, but I wrote a Bible study published by Lifeway that is still a #1 bestseller after 15 years. So I never thought I could do that. I needed people in my sphere of influence that believed in me, that believed I could do it, and who knew how to do it, who knew how to write a book, knew how to get published, knew how to get a speaking engagement, knew how to charge for a speaking engagement. So those are the things that you want your whatever mastermind you choose to fall into. You want to look for one who has done what you want to do, who can encourage you into it, who can lead you into it, and even in the places no one knows it all. No mastermind leader is going to know it all. But prayerfully, we have connections after 40 years. There are very few connections that I can't find someone to help me with a coterie member, that I can't find a recommendation for them to hook up with, or a book to read, or a study to take that will help them go into a higher level. So we know that a free community can start our journey, but the right room, a paid community, can change your life. It can change your ministry. It can lead you into places that you never thought you could go. A paid mastermind group, whatever it is, as you research and look at ones who are doing what you'd like to do or have already been where you'd like to go, that's what you want to look at and consider. Is this the right room for me to join? It is important to invest in yourself as a minister. In my own journey as a ministry leader, I founded a ministry with a $100 donation 40 years ago. And when I left that ministry to retire into speaking and writing full-time and coaching full-time, it was a multi-million-dollar ministry. I learned a lot in those years, and I learned a lot through paid coaching groups and paid coaches, because sometimes what I needed was not available to me unless I invested in it, unless I invested in myself, unless I invested in the calling that God had placed on my life. So being in the right room changes everything. You grow at the level of your environment. Success becomes normal when you're surrounded by success, or those seeking success, those who believe in their success, that believe in what God's called them to do. You don't need more content. You need the right container to grow what you already know that God wants to lead you into. So transformation happens in the right places. So I would love for you to check out my website at patlayton.net, where I have information about my free group, A Woman's Place, and I also call it the Unstuck Woman Club. I have information about my paid mastermind, A Woman's Quest, and I have information about a very special offering that I have called Breakthrough 5. Breakthrough 5 is a 90-minute journey where I will take you from where you are today to where God is calling you, guaranteed. It has worked every time I've worked it through with multiple women in ministry and leadership, and I guarantee you that my Breakthrough 5 process will leave you blessed and encouraged and know the direction that you want to go next. So I've got information on that on my website at patlayton.net. I'd love to have you join me somewhere, but even if you don't join me, there's someone out there who is a few steps ahead of you who can help you get to the place that God's calling you. I could give you countless examples in the Bible of someone who is partnering. We could kind of start with Jesus, who is leading others to a higher level, to places that they could not have imagined without his encouragement, his prayers, and his belief in them. There are many examples in Scripture like that. I even just taught this morning about the book of Esther, which you're probably really familiar with. And I looked at that book from a whole different angle recently in one of my mastermind teachings, where I even realized for the first time how Vashti was a few steps ahead of Esther, and she had set her life on the line for what she believed and what she believed about her value. She set the stage for Esther. So anyway, I'd love to invite you in. Again, my name is Pat Layton. I'm a speaker, an author, and a ministry coach. I call myself a callings coach, and my byline is my desire is to inspire. So I hope that this has inspired you today and encouraged you to take a look at what you might need to invest in to go to the next level that God's calling you to. So blessings. I'll see you next time.